Welcome to COM 110, Public Speaking. I'm your professor for this semester, Dr. Furman Irigoyen, and what I wanted to do is give you a tour of our syllabus, our textbook, and our Canvas shell so that you can be successful in our course. So at the top of our syllabus, you will see that we have our textbook requirement, which you'll be able to click on a link to purchase down here. My name, my office location is 15111, but the best way to get a hold of me is through email. So my preferred method of communication is by email. Chances are we're going to be able to answer a lot of questions in class or by a very quick email. As mentioned earlier, this is our required textbook. It's Public Speaking, Your Pathway to Success, the third edition, and it is through Kendall Hunt Publishers. I have a direct link here where it takes you right to the site to purchase the textbook. I do this so that you can save a few bucks. It's a lot easier for you to go this route to purchase your textbook. For whatever reason you have any textbook issues regarding tech support, this is their phone number and this is their email. I don't have any tech support expertise. It's out of my purview. Please contact them if you have any problems with this textbook. When looking at our syllabus here, I think one of the main reasons why we're here is for a grade. So here we have a standard A through F grading scale. I do not do plus or minus grading, and percentages are rounded down. And I'm really sorry that I'm going to have to do that. Percentages rounded down, but unfortunately circumstances have required me to implement that in my syllabus. So in other words, if you get like an 89.9, that's under the B mark. So I don't round up. Again, I sincerely apologize due to some serious infractions from previous students. Something that I am kind of a tight ass about regarding your grading is that once I post your grades on Canvas, I need you guys to review your scores. Any assignment scores that are not questioned within 3 days after the scores have been awarded will be considered final. So in other words, if you do an assignment, let's say in September, and then come November, you're like, wait a minute, I should have gotten this score. I feel like I should get these points. Well, your window has expired. When looking at our speech requirements, we spent a lot of time preparing you to be successful. Public speaking is not exactly the most fun thing people want to do, and I understand that, but we have to remember it's a skill, and just let me teach you that skill. Okay, let me teach you that skill. For the speech requirements, I have systems in place in which we have much smaller assignments leading up to the main speech that we're doing for a particular unit. And what happens is that if we don't do our assignment on time, for each infraction, you'll lose 5 on the end speech. So please, let's do these assignments in their small steps. They're much more manageable, and they also put you in a much better place to succeed. So we have 16 quizzes this semester, one for each chapter. I think they're about maybe 10 or 15 questions each chapter, and you'll do those examinations through your textbook. So in your textbook, you have everything you need to succeed. It's important that you get that textbook so you're able to get working right away. Here I have our class schedule, and you'll see that I've got broken down by weeks, and then you'll see the week of. And these dates are all the Mondays that start the work week. Okay? You'll see that we have assignments, our lab module 1 and quizzes and that sort of thing due during these weeks. They will be all in your calendar in Canvas, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Most of these assignments, or all of these assignments, pretty much be due during the week that I have outlined here. We have a lot to cover. I run a pretty tight ship in terms of the schedule. More details about assignments and due dates and things like that will be in Canvas. Here I got a very brief description in regards to the main speeches of the semester. But again, each of these assignments will be described in greater detail in Canvas. But we'll have a self-introductory speech, special occasion speech, an informative speech, and a persuasive speech. For this class, we're also going to have assignments that we do through the Comm Lab, and I'll get into that in greater detail when we get into the Canvas part of this program. But really, these assignments help you with your upcoming speeches for the semester. And I think that these modules are pretty good because they help develop skill sets needed to do very well in this course. We have approximately 7 lab modules for this semester. So since this is a hybrid course, we meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We meet in person on Tuesdays, and then Thursdays, it's kind of a flexible day for us. There's a high likelihood that we should be using our Thursdays online to go over materials. Those Thursday sessions are pretty much needed to help us become more familiar and gain a stronger command of the material. Going back to the exams, I don't have makeup exams or late work without prior approval of me. You have to get prior approval from me in order to have a different due date on assignments. I don't have any makeups or late work, and along those themes, there are no extra credit opportunities in our class. So there's no extra credit opportunities in our class. So that is a very brief overview of our syllabus for the course. If you want to read this in greater detail, it is right there for you. You also find this particular link to your syllabus on the Canvas homepage. Now let's head on over to our textbook. Okay, so here we are on the textbook leg of our tour here. Public Speaking, Your Pathway to Success, the 3rd edition. Here on this tab here on says welcome, you'll see I have a little welcome letter for you. And then here you have access to the syllabus as well as your taking of a syllabus quiz. And that's all on the welcome tab. Our next tab up here is the chapters. So we have 16 chapters. And if we were to click a chapter, you will see that each chapter has 2 pages to it. And the way to move from the first page to the second page is like through right here. That takes us to our next chapter, and that takes us to our second page of the chapter. And you'll notice that I have PowerPoint slides for each chapter, which you could download here. I also have the chapter 4 quiz, and in order to start it, it says, your status, begin your attempt here. So all of your quizzes are on the second page of the given chapter. Each chapter has 2 pages. The first page is the content of the chapter, and the second page has your quizzes, your PowerPoints, and your flashcards. So in looking at a standard chapter content, they all run very consistent 1 through 16. So here I have the content, and you'll see all of this information here. Something I'd like you to know is that the way I wrote this textbook, it had the beginning public speaking student in mind. So in other words, I wrote this textbook that a beginning public speaking student can understand what I am talking about. Oftentimes in our textbooks, we write for other professionals in the field, failing to remember that our communication is an audience-centered activity. Towards the end of the chapter, I have a summary. The summary is a pretty detailed summary. Some criticism about my summaries is that they're too long, and I'm fine with that. Because for me, it's really important that you understand the material. In a pinch, you could read the summary and get a pretty gosh darn good grasp of the content of the chapter. And then as we move down, we can hit the next button to get to the second page of the chapter, which would be where our quiz, our PowerPoint slides, and our flashcards are. That's how a standard chapter looks. It's very consistent between chapters 1 through 16. Let me get you over to the resource tab here. This is a very important tab. The 3 main speeches that we're doing this semester are special occasion speeches, informative speeches, and persuasive speeches. And you'll learn that outlining is a huge deal in my classes. Outlining. So in this resource tab, I have a outline checklist. So when you do your outline, you have a checklist of things that you need to make sure you have. And I also have sample outlines for those particular assignments. So you'll see that in the informative speech, I have a variety of different informative speeches here, as well as an informative speech preparation outline checklist. If you were wondering what I grade when you do your speeches, I grade your outlines pretty hard. And something to remember is that if you're wondering what I look for in an outline that I grade, look at the checklist. I just immediately go down the checklist. You kind of know what I'm looking for before the assignment is even assigned. And I have a variety of speech to persuade speeches in outline form. as well as an outline checklist. Here, just for kicks, I've got some links to some famous speeches. I do have some research and statistical databases available to you. When trying to figure out a topic, here are some links you might want to consider. Bibliographies and citing your sources correctly is a very big deal. I have a set of resources for you in generating your bibliography, and we'll learn how to do all of this good stuff in class. Here in your textbook, you can track your grade by going into your grade book, but you can also do that on Canvas. Okay, so all of the textbook and Canvas I have is integrated. And of course, a glossary of all the key terms are back here. But you'll see these key terms in your second page of the various chapters as it relates to that particular chapter. Okay, so that pretty much covers the tour of our textbook. Now we're just going to hop into Canvas and see what that looks like. All right, so here we are at our Canvas homepage for our course. You will see that I have my contact information here. Once again, my preferred method of communicating is through email. Another way through Canvas that you can contact me is over here. You have an inbox and you can email me through there, and that seems to be a pretty seamless process of communication between us. Here you'll see that we have our link to our syllabus, and then if you want to see this video in all of its glory, again, the link will be posted right here for you. I'm going to kind of go down the menu item so you can see what's going on there. A method of communication to you is through the announcements. So through your preferences, please make sure you get those announcements because they are very important. I will be giving you, for example, a public speaking master rubric, and it's the master rubric of what I look for and what I'm going to be grading you on for your speeches. I will also going to be sending you videos like how-to videos to make your life in this class a lot easier. So be on the lookout for those, guys. Let's next move to assignments. I have participation assignments, and I have assignments for your speech for special occasion here. I have assignments for your informative speech. I have assignments for your persuasive speech. And then here you got links to your quiz, but that will be taken through your textbook. So those are integrated. Down here you'll also see I've got class lectures. And all of our class lectures, 1 through 16, are all here. And they're YouTube videos with PowerPoints. And the PowerPoints that I use in the video are also available to you on that second page of your chapter in the textbook that we talked about earlier. So let me show you CommLab module assignment. Here what I'd like you to do is, we'll go to the module 1, and I left a note up here, please complete the CommLab self-reporting form after finishing your assignment. Okay, so once you get done with all of this business, I need you to come back here, click on this link, and then fill out that form so that it gets sent to the CommLab. So these assignments, these CommLab assignments, are usually a 2-part process. I give very specific instructions as to what I'm looking for. If we were to click on this form, let's see what this looks like. Okay, so we clicked on this form, which takes us here. You want to verify what class you belong. So here we've got public speaking 110 class, CRN 95625. You click that, and you click the next button, and then you type in your G number, and then you want to make sure you type in your first and last name. And then here it's asking for the minutes. There's nothing scientific to it. When in doubt, round up. So in other words, if something took you like maybe 35 minutes, but you weren't sure if it was 35, just put down 45 minutes or even an hour. That's fine too. I believe they want you to just put the number of minutes. So 6, the number 6 for 6 minutes, and let's say 90 for 1 hour and a half. Just plug that in. And then you type in the date on when you did this assignment. And then here they got a drop down. So for example, for many of our work, we can do speech practice session for self-evaluation. We can do that. And then we can click next, and then it'll take us to the next screen. But it's a self-explanatory form. And that way we're able to track our numbers in terms of lab use and that sort of thing. Okay, so let's go back to assignments. So when going through all of this stuff on Canvas, it's probably better that you use Google Chrome to get your work in and that sort of thing. For some reason, it just works better. And here, something I'd like you to do is click here to pair your textbook once you get your textbook to the Canvas site. And if you're in Google Chrome, which I think it's wanting you to do, you just click there, and then there's a button that says pair textbook. You click that, and so the textbook and your Canvas page will be integrated correctly. I give very thorough instructions to all of your assignments. As we go through this, you will see that we have our grades where you can obviously track your grades. Remember when we talked about when grades get released, you got 3 days to look them over, and if you have questions about them, talk to me about that before the 3-day expiration date. Another thing I want you to keep an eye out on is the syllabus here. I want you to be able to see this button up here, jump to today. For some reason, it takes you to like 2020, which doesn't make any sense. But if you click to jump to today, that we've got assignments for this week and that sort of thing to take care of. Also on your calendar over here, that you're able to click your class so that your assignments and things like that all pop up on your calendar. So with that, we have toured your syllabus, your textbook, and your Canvas class shell. So I want to wish you the best of luck this semester. See you in class.